Okay, so today we're making jackfruit. This is my favorite part, squeezing it. Chopped up some onions, added them to a pan, sauteed them for a bit, added garlic. Then I add the jackfruit and some seasoning. You don't have to use this, you use veggie powder. I added water later. I added way too much chipotle pepper, don't do that. This is my homemade taco seasoning, barbecue sauce, maple syrup. Bet you wondered what I was eating it with. Fries. Cheese fries, actually. Honestly, this turned out to be really spicy, but I enjoyed it.
This 2-ingredient healthy Alfredo is so easy and so genius, it's going to change your life. Start by boiling some water and then adding a very generous amount of fine grained sea salt. You can use any pasta you want, but cook it for 2 minutes less than it says on the package. Then reserve your pasta water, drain the pasta, do not rinse it, and put it back in your pot. Okay, you ready for the secret ingredient? It's hummus. It makes this super rich and creamy sauce, except for it's totally dairy-free and it's packed with protein and fiber. It was kind of hard to get out, but I used a spoon and then I added my pasta water and I cooked it over low until it came together. You can add in some nutritional yeast if you want to give it an extra cheesy flavor, but it's not necessary. Top it with some parsley and some red pepper flakes and then just dig on in. Oh yeah, so delicious. Follow for more easy, healthy recipes.
In a rush to make the most delicious and quick dinner ever? This is it, I promise. So you're gonna take some onions and cook them in some olive oil and butter, then add in some minced garlic, some cherry tomatoes, some salt, pepper, and crushed red pepper, and then a little bit of white wine, and you're gonna let that cook over high heat for about 10 minutes until the tomatoes start to burst, and then you're gonna smash them all with your spatula, add in some vegan butter and vegan Parmesan, and stir that around until melted. Like, look how creamy and delicious this is already. Like, I could eat this with a spoon, I swear. It's so good. Then you're gonna take your pasta that is almost al dente, add it into the sauce with a little more butter and some pasta water, and then you're gonna stir it around and make sure everything gets well coated and let it cook for another 5 minutes or so until the pasta becomes nice and al dente and cooked through.
This magic avocado sauce makes everything way more delicious and way healthier. Start with half an avocado, of course, and then you're going to want to add some cilantro. Always use the stems as well as the leaves because they actually have way more flavor. And then add in a jalapeno, remove the seeds and the pith if you want it to be less spicy. And some raw garlic, which is going to add a ton of flavor and make it really supportive for your immune system. And then you're going to use the zest and the juice of an orange and a lime. Zest adds in a ton of flavor, but it actually also has more nutrients than any other part of the fruit. It's super great for glowing skin and it also really helps fight inflammation. Olive oil adds heart-healthy fats and gives a really silky, creamy texture, and then you're also going to want, of course, a pinch of fine-grained sea salt. Add some maple syrup for sweetness, and then blend it with a little bit of water until it's super smooth. I use this for salads, tacos. It makes literally everything taste way better.
Since my vegan taco bowl was so popular, I'm going to show you how I make my vegan taco meat. My name's Alyssa and I'm a vegan dietitian. So let's do this. Start by adding some olive oil and an onion and saute it until it's soft. Add some garlic. Then, surprise, surprise, add some chopped pecans. I know this is weird, just trust me, this is what gives the meaty texture. Add soy sauce and water. Now let's get spicy, Add some cumin, chili powder, garlic powder, and paprika. Saute for about 1 to 2 minutes. What I love about this recipe is that it's high in fiber, protein, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. Have taco every day, not just on Tuesday. And to finish it all off, add some cooked quinoa. You can add more salt if you want, but be mindful that you already added soy sauce, which contains a lot of salt. It's your call, you do you, boo. Ta-da! Tonight, I added it to corn tortillas, I topped it off with veggies, and I added avocado cilantro sauce. Yum! Smash half an avocado, add some salt, add some pepper, put some lemon, mix it, put it on the toast, add the other half of the avocado, put the tahini. Oh yeah, looking good. Slow motion. All right. Add some hemp seed, add some chili flakes, lemon, salt, ready to go.
Of this scrumptious looking meal, you'd think it's chicken, right? I really hope you said yes, because we set out to make the most convincing seitan chicken breast out there, and to be honest, I think we succeeded. Simply combine flour and water until a rough dough forms, then knead it on a clean counter to form a smooth ball. This step is when the gluten starts to develop, and since seitan is basically just straight gluten, that's very important. You can tell if it's ready because when you poke it, the dough should spring back up. Place your dough ball into a large bowl, then pour enough cool water over top to completely cover it. Next, cover the whole bowl and let rest for 1 to 2 hours at room temperature. Now it's time to wash the flour. By this I mean gently knead the dough under the water until it turns opaque and white like milk. That's the starch being removed, leaving behind the gluten protein. Drain the water, which you can save to make other recipes such as cold skin noodles, then continue washing the dough and draining the water 2 to 3 more times. The water doesn't need to run clear, but should be less opaque than before, like milk mixed with water, if that makes sense. After the final rinse and strain, cover the dough again and let rest for another 20 minutes in the colander to drain and relax. It's at this point that any loose pieces of dough will magically bond back together. Try not to get too creeped out by that, it's just the gluten strands holding hands, which is kind of sweet actually. Now to add some flavor. This part is up to you, but we added nutritional yeast, onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and salt. It's easiest to incorporate the flavors by kneading them into the seitan with your hands until just combined. And finally, one more rest to allow the gluten to relax and bind together again, then you can cut the dough into 6 triangles and loosely spread each into the shape of a chicken breast. Fry these over medium-high heat in vegetable oil until golden and crispy on both sides. At this point, these already started to look like cooked chicken breast, but we weren't finished yet. To finish the cooking process and impart more flavor, drain the oil from the pan, then pour in about 1 cup of vegetable or mock chicken broth, followed by a little soy sauce, which is optional. Return the seitan to the pan, cover and simmer on low for 30 to 45 minutes. These can be served right away, but to give them that extra chicken look, we grilled each piece on both sides using the weight to get some really nice grill marks. Overall, I think looks-wise, we nailed it. In terms of taste, it's pretty tricky to actually replicate the flavor of a chicken breast, but these were meaty and savory like chicken and had a nice chew to them.
This is the best hot chocolate and it just happens to be healthy. Grab some almond butter, this will make sort of a nut milk base, and then add a dash of vanilla extract to that. This is the secret ingredient. It is avocado. It makes things so rich and creamy and actually filling. And then I added a little bit of cinnamon, but you don't have to. It's totally optional, and a dash of fine-grained sea salt. Tossed in some cacao because it is hot chocolate after all, and then a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten. Add some hot water and blend it all up, and honestly, it's the thickest, creamiest hot chocolate I've ever had. You have to try.
I just turned carrots into vegan hot dogs. I sure did. The other day I made my husband vegan ribeye steak and he had the nerve to ask for sides. So today I decided to cook something that doesn't require sides. So I ran to the kitchen and started peeling these carrots and seasoning them. Wow! These vegan hot dogs look so good already. Wow! It's starting to smell like real hot dogs. I'm scared. I hope my husband doesn't ask for sides with these hot dogs, because I made sure to add extra mustard and ketchup to show him how much I love him. He's home. Let's see how this goes.
Even if you hate cauliflower, I promise you will love this recipe. Just break your cauliflower into little tiny florets, the smaller the better. And then you're just gonna drizzle on a little bit of avocado oil, and we're gonna add a ton of spices. This is jerk chicken inspired, so it's gonna be sweet and spicy and savory, but also the spices are gonna form this really crispy, delicious crust that's gonna almost make it taste fried, even though it's just baked in the oven. Also, I always say that spices are the original superfoods because they have so many health benefits. And then we're gonna add a little bit of coconut sugar just to add that sweetness, and of course, a lot of fine-grained mineral salt. And then we're gonna mix that all up and put it on a parchment-lined pan. You can seriously already tell how much flavor is in these. They look so good, so we're gonna pop them in the oven until they get nice and crispy. And there you go, jerk cauliflower poppers. They're so good, you have to try.
Okay, you guys, so I've been seeing vegetarian birria taco recipes all over my For You page, and I've literally never been sadder to be vegetarian. So I decided to make my own version today using oyster mushrooms, and these are so good. They're the perfect meaty texture. So basically what you want to do is grab your dried chilies and then take the seeds out and boil these for about 15 minutes. And then in a skillet, you're going to add in your yellow onions, garlic, your dried spices, San Marzano tomatoes, a little bit of salt, some veggie broth, and some water. And then you're going to blend together your chilies and water using an immersion blender. Add this to your broth and let it simmer for about an hour. And then for the filling, it's super easy. Grab your oyster mushrooms and cook them in a little bit of oil, add a bit of taco seasoning and some of that broth, and that's basically it, you guys. Birria tacos.